Lecture 5, How to Increase Your Income. Welcome back. For the past couple of lessons, we've been talking about the power of profit. Your financial life, I've said, is like a car, and your profit margin is like the engine of that car. To get more power from that engine, there are two things you can do: reduce your spending and increase your income. Last time, we talked about strategies to dramatically cut your spending. In this lesson, we'll explore 3 of the most effective ways to boost your income. Those 3 strategies are: first, build knowledge and skills through education; second, increase the quantity and quality of your work; and third, learn how to market yourself. But you may be wondering, if I slash my spending, why do I need to take these steps to boost my income at all? Well, you can only cut costs so far. There's no way to reduce your spending below zero, and most of us can't come close to zero. In 2020, the U.S. federal poverty level for 2 people was about $17,000. For 4 people, it was $26,000. I'm friends with several frugal millionaires, and even the thriftiest couples I know tend to spend between $24,000 and $30,000 per year. It seems reasonable to assume, therefore, that no matter how careful you are with your cash, you're still going to need to spend at least $2,000 per month to survive. If you're one of those who already lives near this level, who only spends $2,000 per month, no amount of penny pinching will help you improve your financial situation. You have no more pennies to pinch. You've cut everything you can cut. What then can be done if you hope to retire early? The answer is simple. You need to make more money. While your spending has a floor, your income, in theory anyhow, has no ceiling. Its only limit is you and your willingness to do the things it takes to make more money. And while it's not impossible to obtain financial independence and retire early on an average income, you'll make much quicker progress if you're able to earn more. That's how the math works. Higher incomes allow you to create wider profit margins, to save more, which in turn gives you more money to invest and grow. Whether you're self-employed or work for somebody else, your income is largely determined by 3 factors: your knowledge and skills, your productivity, and your ability to sell yourself to others. If you want to earn more money, you have to become more valuable in the job marketplace and demonstrate that value for the market to see. Let's look at how to make that happen. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, education has a greater impact on lifetime earning potential than any other demographic factor. Yes, your age, race, gender, and location all influence what you earn, but nothing matters more than what you know. In fact, the Census Bureau says that education has 5 times the impact of gender on annual earnings. That's great news, really, because while you can't control your age or your race, you have total control over your level of education. Sure, colleges become more expensive, and that's a problem. In his lecture series for the Great Courses, Foundations of Economic Prosperity, Daniel Dresner says, the skyrocketing price of higher education makes the investment seem risky and somewhat unrewarding. Indeed, even the price of public higher education rose by 72% over the last decade. Plus, Dresner says, we hear lots of stories about people who make it big without a college degree. People like Microsoft founder Bill Gates and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. They're college dropouts who became billionaires. But there are also exceptions to the rule. Contrary to popular belief, Dresner says, the data on this is incontrovertible. The best investment one can make to improve their economic fortunes is to earn a college degree. Nothing else comes close. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has numbers that show that the higher your education, the more likely you are to have a job. If you've completed high school but didn't go to college, you're about twice as likely to be unemployed as a college graduate. If you didn't finish high school, you're nearly 3 times as likely to be unemployed as a college grad. And how much does education influence income? Well, on average, workers who never finish high school earn less than $30,000 per year. Those who finished high school but never went to college earn $41,000 per year. Workers with 4-year college degrees earn an average of $97,000 per year, which is more than twice as much as those who only finished high school. And workers with graduate degrees earn an average of $138,000 annually. This phenomenon is so well known that it has a name, the education premium. And while there's been a lot of discussion in recent years about the eroding value of this education premium, it's so pronounced that it would take decades of decline for its influence to vanish. So for now, the education premium is huge. Over the course of a typical career, a college graduate will earn, on average, an extra $500,000 more than someone who never pursued higher education. It is, however, important to note that some degrees provide better financial returns than others. A 2015 report from Georgetown University found that engineering majors earned a median starting income of $50,000 per year. Folks with an art degree started with annual salaries of around $28,000 per year, about half what new engineers earned. Engineers were also more likely than art majors to have full-time jobs. So, not every degree provides the same financial benefits. All the same, the education premium is real, and it's powerful. That same Georgetown report showed that high school graduates who didn't go to college had average starting salaries of $22,000 per year, 20% less than the typical arts major. The lesson here is clear. The more you learn, the more you earn. Young people should absolutely consider going to college, although they should do their best to minimize debt while doing so, and they should be mindful of the earning potential of the degree they pursue. Money isn't the only consideration when choosing a career, of course, but it's an important one. But what if you're 30, or 40, or 50? A lot of adults are afraid to go back to school. They don't think they have what it takes to compete with the kids. Others believe that because of work or family, they don't have time to earn a degree. But for those who are willing and able to make an effort, advanced education is an excellent way to improve income. Take my girlfriend, for example. For years, she was the office manager at a large dental practice outside Sacramento. At age 35, she decided she wanted to make more money. She sold her home and moved to Idaho, where she went to school to study dental hygiene. Today, as a dental hygienist, she enjoys better pay and increased job satisfaction. Or there's my friend Jeremy. After 10 years as a car salesman, Jeremy decided he wanted to become an accountant. He continued to sell cars while he and his wife raised 2 young children. At night, he took online courses and studied for his exams. Today, he's a full-fledged certified public accountant and owns a piece of the firm where he works. Even I have done something similar. 20 years ago, I was a salesman for a box factory. I decided I wanted to earn more money. I spent my evenings and weekends taking computer programming classes at the local community college. After 18 months, I had earned the equivalent education of a minor in computer science. Even without a degree, I was able to pick up programming work in my spare time. If going back to school appeals to you, but you don't know where to start, here are 3 options to consider. First, the U.S. Department of Labor has a website, careeronestop.org, with all sorts of resources for people looking to improve their job prospects. Next, some universities offer full-fledged degree programs through dedicated online courses. And this isn't watered-down stuff either. Johns Hopkins University, for instance, offers a complete online master's degree in nursing. Finally, your local community or junior college is always an excellent and affordable source of quality continuing education. If you can't commit to a college program, it's still possible to improve your knowledge and skills through an ongoing campaign of self-directed education. Lifelong learning yields rich rewards, and it's available from many sources, including books and blogs, podcasts and online videos, conferences, and community education classes. In recent years, for example, many colleges and universities, including big names like MIT and Harvard, have begun sharing free courses on the web. These so-called Massive Open Online Courses, or MOOCs, are an excellent option for adults already busy with real life and a career. For more info, check out mooc.org or edx.org. Or there's LinkedIn Learning at linkedin.com, which provides targeted short courses on skills useful to working adults. And even if you're just intellectually curious, opportunities for lifelong learning abound. In fact, you're engaged in this process at this very moment. You're listening to an Audible original course produced in association with the Great Courses. No joke, I do this too. For the past 15 years, I've been an avid consumer of the Great Courses. I listen to them daily. I'm especially fond of the company's history titles, which I listen to again and again and again. Maybe learning about ancient Egypt will never help me increase my pay, but it's rewarding nonetheless. Ultimately, education is no panacea. It's not a shield against job loss or low pay. But the evidence is overwhelming. If you want to make more money, go back to school, even if it's only evenings and weekends through an online program. This isn't a quick fix to your finances, but it's a powerful one. It's a smart way to boost your income and your profit margin permanently. Education isn't the only factor that affects your income. Your pay is also based on the quality and quantity of your work. If you want to earn more, you can increase the number of hours you work, your output per hour, or the value of your output. The quickest and easiest way to boost your income is to increase the number of hours you work each week. That might mean going from a part-time employee to a full-time employee. It might mean volunteering for overtime. For many folks, it means finding a second job. Working 2 jobs can be tough, especially if you have young children. And some people feel like a second job is beneath them. To overcome these objections, recognize that a second job is not a life sentence. It doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. You can use it as a way to supercharge your income for the short term. What kinds of extra work do people pursuing financial freedom take on? Well, I know a highly paid biologist who, during the holiday season, takes temporary jobs at upscale clothing stores. For a few weeks each year, she works 2 jobs. She banks her extra income and she takes advantage of her employee discount, allowing her to maintain her professional wardrobe on the cheap. It's also common for teachers to put their summers to good use. They work in retail, act as tour guides, even work as bartenders. And as I mentioned, I once went back to school to learn computer programming. I used my newfound skills to land a couple of part-time gigs. For a few months, I worked 3 jobs totaling nearly 80 hours a week. The going was tough, but the financial rewards were worth it. The money I earned helped me hack my way out of debt. If you can't add to the quantity of your work, if you can't add hours to your workday, try to increase the quality of your work. You can enhance your value to your current employer by doing more work in the time you have. If you've been producing 10 widgets per hour, challenge yourself to produce 12. If you've been making 40 sales calls each week, find a way to do 50. When you produce more, you're worth more, and that increased worth can often be translated into bonuses, raises, and promotions. It's surprising how many people only do the bare minimum on the job. They go through the motions. They view their relationship with their employer as adversarial. But you'll never get ahead if you're only faking it. Sometimes people complain that their hard work would be unappreciated, go unrewarded. But from my experience, that's not true. Employers usually do reward their most valuable employees. If yours doesn't or won't, then it might be time to find a different job. This leads us to another way to increase the value of what you do. Sometimes you have to change where you work. Maybe that means moving to a different position within your current company. Maybe that means taking a job with a competitor. Or maybe that means changing careers completely. When my ex-wife decided she wanted to earn more money, she left her career as a high school science teacher to become a forensic chemist for the state police. Same skill set, completely different job. Okay, so far today we've covered 2 pieces of the how to boost your income puzzle, education and productivity. But there's one last piece to this puzzle. Your income is also influenced by how well you market yourself. Like it or not, you are a product. Your work and expertise are a commodity. Your employer wants to pay you as little as possible for the work that you do. It's nothing personal, it's just business. Your goal, on the other hand, is to be paid what you're worth. To bridge the gap between what your employer wants to pay and what you want to be paid, it's smart to learn how to negotiate your salary. Think of it like this. When you shop for a new car, you try to pay as little as possible, right? You might need that vehicle, but you're not going to pay sticker price if you don't have to. At the same time, The dealer does its best to get you to pay as much as possible. Well, your boss is like the car buyer. She needs an employee, but would prefer to pay less than sticker price. You are like the car dealership. You want to convince the buyer, your employer, to pay a premium price for your services. You can increase your lifetime earnings by $500,000 or more if you learn the art of salary negotiation. Many folks are nervous to negotiate. They don't like confrontation and conflict, and salary negotiation feels like confrontation and conflict. Trust me, I get it. I'm one of those people too. But I've learned to push back when it comes to what I earn. Sometimes people say no, but sometimes they say yes. Career coach Jack Chapman argues that those few minutes during the hiring process when you ask for more money can make a difference of tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, probably hundreds of thousands. He likes to say that you can literally earn $1,000 per minute of negotiation if you do this right. Chapman has 5 rules for salary negotiation. Whether you're bargaining at hiring time or you're asking for a raise at your current job. First, postpone salary negotiations until after you've been offered a job or finished a performance review. Chapman says the hiring process or evaluation process consists of 2 distinct phases, judging and budgeting. You can only hurt yourself by bringing up salary while your employer is judging instead of budgeting. Second, let the other side make the first offer. Experienced negotiators know that it's tough to come out on top when you're the first to name a number. Many people find it awkward to evade direct questions about salary expectations, so it's helpful to practice for this precise moment. Elsewhere, I've mentioned an excellent resource for this course, moneytoolbox.com. Once you've finished this lesson, I encourage you to visit that website where you'll find links to a few ways to handle the question, how much are you earning? Jack Chapman's 3rd rule for salary negotiation goes like this. When you hear the first salary offer, repeat the top value and be silent. No matter what the number is, even if it exceeds your expectations, stop. Pause to think things over. While you're ruminating, you're also putting subtle pressure on your employer. Next, counter the offer with a researched response. If this is an initial job interview, you ought to have done some research to find out what the going rate is for similar jobs in your area. If this is a performance review, you ought to have drafted a list of ways you've contributed to the success of the company. Use this info to counter the initial salary offer. Finally, seal the deal. Then deal some more. The final step in salary negotiations is to lock in the offer, then negotiate additional benefits such as added vacation time or the ability to work from home 1 day per week. It's true that once in a while, negotiating can have a negative outcome. A job offer might be rescinded. That's okay. This is a sign that the opportunity probably wasn't right for you in the first place. Generally speaking, salary negotiation is one of the top ways to boost personal profit over your lifetime. In fact, research has repeatedly shown that failing to negotiate your salary can cost over $600,000 during the course of a typical career. This strategy is especially important when you're young. Your earnings in future years build on what you make today. When you increase your current salary, you're not just affecting this year, but every year to follow. In a way, this is like the power of compound interest. If you negotiate a $40,000 salary out of college instead of $35,000, then every raise in the future will be based on that $40,000. Your wealth snowball will grow much more quickly. Let's say, for instance, that you took that $35,000 offer instead of negotiating up to $40,000. Assuming you get a 3% raise over each of the next 2 years, your salary at the beginning of year 3 will be $37,131. Whereas if you'd started at $40,000, your salary in year 3 would be $42,436. Now, let's say that in year 4, you're offered a new position with a 20% raise. If you started at $35,000, you'll move into your new position at $44,557. But if you'd negotiated for $40,000 at the beginning of your career, your salary for the new position will be around $51,000. What started as a $5,000 difference in annual salary is now getting close to a $7,000 difference. And the combined earnings over those first 4 years of work add up to a difference of roughly $22,000. In other words, negotiation pays. While the salary negotiation process is the same whether you've been offered a job or you've been with the same company for years, when you're asking for a raise, you can take 4 extra steps to ensure success. First, be proactive. If you think you deserve more, schedule a meeting with your boss. Second, be prepared to state your case. Make a list of ways you've helped the business. If you can, measure your achievement in dollars. For instance, by switching from Staples to Dunder Mifflin for our paper supplies, I've saved the firm $50,000 over the past year. Third, don't complain during the meeting. Be positive and professional. You want to be seen and actually be collaborative. As corny as it sounds, employers like team players. Finally, follow up. Get promises in writing. Now, not every negotiation succeeds, but even if your boss turns down your request for a raise, you can remain proactive. Ask her what you can do to earn more in the future. In the United States, only half of all employees negotiate their salary. If you're serious about achieving your financial goals, you'll be one of them. Here's the bottom line. You are 100% responsible for your income. If you want to earn more, you must be worth more. How much you earn directly reflects what the market believes you're worth. Your income is based on the demand for your knowledge and skills, the quality and quantity of your work, and how well you market yourself to potential employers or customers. What the market values might not seem fair to you, but fair is irrelevant. Is it obscene that professional athletes are paid millions of dollars? Maybe. Is it an injustice that elementary school teachers are paid a pittance? Perhaps. But it doesn't matter. These numbers are what they are. They're a product of supply and demand. If you want to increase your income, you have to supply more of what employers want. Whenever I teach about making more money, I get complaints. At least one person will grouse that my advice won't work for him. I'll have a litany of excuses for why he can't possibly boost his income. His commute is too long. His kids take too much time. His back is messed up, or he suffers from chronic depression. He works for a company that never gives raises. He's too old to go back to school, and so on. Look, I get that not every path to increased income will work for every person. I'm self-employed, for instance, so I can't ask anybody for a raise. But I can negotiate when I do jobs for other people. If I want to make more money, I can write more. The more I write, the more money I make. But when a person has an excuse for every possible way to earn more money, the problem is with that person, not with the tools I'm sharing. These tools work. I know plenty of people who've gone back to school to better their careers, and I know plenty of people who have learned to negotiate their salaries. They've put these ideas into practice and proved that the statistics are right. The typical worker with a 4-year degree earns an extra $500,000 over someone who never went to college. And negotiating your salary from your very first job until the day you retire can make more than $600,000 difference to your total career earnings. Put these together and the results are shocking. If you obtain a college degree, and if you negotiate your salary, over your lifetime, you can expect to make an average of $1 million more than a person who does neither. That's an extra $25,000 per year or $2,000 per month. The pursuit of financial independence requires some tough choices. It requires short-term sacrifice for long-term gains. Increasing your income is a vital component of creating a personal profit. In fact, it's probably the most powerful thing you can do to accelerate your progress toward your goals. Nobody cares more about your money than you do. This is especially true with your income. If you don't take responsibility for earning more money, nobody else is going to do it for you. And nobody's going to simply hand you a pile of cash because you're a nice person. In a lot of ways, your career is like a game. You might not like the rules of the game, and that's fine. But if you want to win, or to have a good score, You have got to learn to play by those rules to use them to your advantage. All right, let's move on. So far, we've explored ways to increase the gap between your earning and your spending, ways to boost your profit margin. Now let's talk about what to do with that gap. What's the best way to manage all of that money you're earning so that you can use it to retire early? We'll take up that question in the next lesson. See you then.